Hi guys, welcome back to Hysteria Gaming HD. It's Tommy again, and we're getting into part 3 of the Q&A. I've endeavoured to answer everyone's questions, so I hope I haven't missed anyone out. As I said before, YouTube's got a habit of marking these things as spam and hiding them and not giving notifications and stuff, but I have searched for them and hopefully I've got through everyone's. I hope you've enjoyed the Q&A, guys, and we'll get into the final lot of questions now. At the end of the video, I've marked one that I thought was my favourite. I'm not really sure why. There were lots of great questions from you guys, but this one just kind of stuck out to me a bit. I guess it was a bit nostalgic and stuff, so yeah, congratulations to the winner. I'll be in contact with you soon. Anyway, let's get into the rest of the Q&A. GamerX Legion has quite an amusing question asking, have you ever rage quit so hard that you tried to punch through your monitor? Now, first of all, I tend not to rage quit games. I'm kind of a sucker for punishment, and I kind of sit there and I'm so determined to win the round or whatever that I kind of stay and then I'll leave afterwards in a rage. So I don't tend to rage quit, but I also wouldn't punch through my monitor because it's a BenQ 120Hz monitor and it cost me a fortune. But my keyboard, I'm sorry Cyborg, does take quite a bit of beating, and it's kind of a bit disabled nowadays. It kind of, the back bits are kind of hanging off, the wrist support that doesn't even work anymore. So that's taken the brunt of my abuse, but I could go back to the olden days of a console on N64 or PS2 when the wired controllers used to be around, and I used to swing the wired controllers around my head and launch them into a wall or a hard surface and smash them to bits. So I got through dozens of them, and until I realized, and I had to start buying them myself, how much they damn cost. And with the introduction of like the more sensitive controllers, like the wireless ones which break the moment you spit on them, yeah, that certainly had to stop. And the same thing with my mouse. I wouldn't do that because it cost me money, and I've just got to, you know, I can't be going through £70 mouses every time I rage quit a game. Right, then next up we had a question from Wilkes, the very friendly northerner. He asks, would you recommend getting into YouTube given the current situation with copyright, etc.? To be honest, I can't really answer that at the moment. These changes are coming in as we speak through January. I've yet to see any different. And I guess I'm very lucky with my network that we're kind of covered. We have a better cover than most networks. Pixel Enemy provide good partner privileges, and so I guess ask me in 6 months' time and I'll be able to let you know. But what I would say is that YouTube has never been a more difficult place to start a channel. There are now more gaming channels opening daily than ever, and you know, getting views and stuff is very difficult. So it can be a very disheartening place to make videos, but equally can be very rewarding when videos do well. So I'd always say, if you like interacting with people and meeting new people, putting out your videos and stuff, then of course full on go for it. And as you're a friendly northerner, then I'm sure you'll do fine, mate. Exy Tyros asks, what tips can you give for people who are trying to start uploading videos to YouTube? I get asked this quite a lot, and I'm not really sure why, because my main tip would be to do the opposite from what I do. I have a very poor YouTube model, mainly because of my irregularity of uploads. People like decent scheduling, and so that would be my main tip. People like to be able to check in on your channel on a certain day and expect to see a video. So people starting YouTube should always have a schedule. Second of all, and the main thing for me, is never enter YouTube as a career path or because you think you're going to make that YouTube money. Honestly, if you're doing it for anything other than a hobby, then you're making a mistake. The truth of YouTube is that the money you receive as a small YouTuber is very insignificant. You might be able to do a giveaway like I'm doing, or maybe pay your internet for a month or something, but it's certainly not something you're going to be able to live off. And so if you're entering YouTube for money, you're making mistakes. So that would be my second piece of advice. But yeah, if you're looking to support your hobby because you like making videos and you like socializing with people, then it's a great thing to do. Super Otto 53 asks a question that I really struggle to even read. Says, what was the worst physical experiment you've ever had? Now, I'm not 100% sure what he means by that, but what my mind tells me about that is when I went for a routine sexual health checkup, and something you should always do. But I can tell you there's nothing more awkward or unbearable than some complete random Joe you've never met in your life, who happens to be a physician, holding your bits in their hands and probing it with cotton buds whilst trying to make general conversation about the weather. I can tell you it is very uncomfortable but highly necessary, so everyone should get it done every now and again. But yeah, that's definitely my worst physical experience, so I hope that's along the lines of what you meant. Another dual question here, which I'm going to band together because they're fairly similar, and they come from Isela Lamas and Matty H. Matty says, what is the most badass thing you ever did? And Isaiah says, what is the funniest / dumbest thing you've ever done? I wouldn't consider myself particularly a badass, but when I was younger, I used to have a bit of a thing when I was sort of in my early 20s of buying like fancy dress masks of famous people and then going out and getting hideously drunk dressed as them. Me and my friend, if you can try and picture this, went out as Tony Blair, the ex-British Prime Minister, and George W. Bush, the ex-American President, and went around and got exceedingly drunk, and it rolled on to the end of the night, and I was basically trying to politely say, in my mind I was anyway, apparently I was swearing an awful lot and was about 5 seconds from being arrested. In fact, I got arrested and de-arrested because my friend promised to take me home. Started talking to them very loudly and very rudely about budget changes and how I was going to cut the police budget and all this sort of stuff to 3 policemen who really didn't see the funny side. So I could have spent the night in the police station, so I'm glad I managed to avoid that one. The answer to the next question is hardly going to be a surprise for you because I've mentioned it so many times already, but it comes from Vuk Gamer, and it says, what is the best war game that you got so immersed that you couldn't stop playing? He also asks, do you bungee jump? Well, I'll answer that first. Oh, fucking no, dude. Whilst I kind of don't mind the idea of doing a parachute jump or something, the idea of bungee jumping off a dam or something and then being stranded there until they pull you up is just no. Plus I've seen videos of bungee snapping and all that sort of stuff, so it's something just doesn't interest me in the slightest. I'd rather put hot needles in my eyes, if I'm honest. In terms of the war game, it is of course Bad Company 1. Immersive is exactly what that game was. In place of being brilliant, it was just so addictive. And I don't even want to know the hours I put into that game when it was released. I think I retired my account ranked number 19 in the world, and I think it's still somewhere in the top 200 even now, and I haven't played the game in about 4 years. So yeah, I mean that gives some sort of indication of the amount of time I put into that and how immersed I was into it. But yeah, truly a classic. Right, one of the final questions is from Ivan Barazic, maybe. He asks, did you ever think you would get over 500 subscribers? I don't really know. I guess honestly I would say yes, because people can release one video that does well and get 500 subscribers from that video. I have 50 videos, so on that basis I guess 10 subscribers per video isn't a ridiculous target to reach. But yeah, I don't know. I never set out to achieve any sort of numbers. It'd be a lot nicer if that was 500,000. And I think we're currently around 750. So yeah, I guess I'm starting in 2014 to try and set myself some targets. And so I'd be lying if I said that I never expected to get 500. So yes, I did. And I hope that grows. Mainly because it's just fun to kind of socialize on YouTube. And it means I can do giveaways like this. The bigger the channel, the more giveaways I can do. That's the long and short of it. So I hope that answers your question, mate. Right then, guys, we're nearly there at the end. I'm just about to go through the question that I've picked as my favorite. I've had so many great questions, so thank you for them. But this one just kind of stuck out a bit. I guess it made me think of better times on gaming and just some really fond memories. So thank you to Jenny Wu, who asks, What was the first game that got you hooked and interested in gaming, and how did you come at your name? To answer the first part, I was hooked from a very young age when I was maybe 6 or 7. We never had consoles when we were younger. Our family always had PCs, but as a child, my grandfather had a Nintendo NES, and I remember at Christmas time being allowed to play games like Duck Hunt and Super Mario Brothers, and I just adored it. I was hooked immediately. Right through my early teens when we played on PC games like Doom and Duke Nukem and Quake. I then switched to the N64 for classics like Diddy Kong Racing, GoldenEye 64, and that went right through to a stint on Sony consoles, on PS1, PS2 and PS3, which is way too many games to even list. But yeah, if that pretty much answers it, I then obviously built my rig a few years ago and moved back to PC, but still playing on console too. I've still got Last of Us to open soon, so I'm hoping that's going to be as good as I expect it to be. But yeah, I hope that answers it. I've been hooked pretty much since I was about 7 years old. In terms of my name, as I said before, I was in a competitive clan on Bad Company 1 called WZP, and as that game progressed, it became clear that as we're getting more competitive in it, the game didn't support clan tags, and so the way people got around that was making new PSN IDs with the clan tag in the name. I made 2 of these at that time. Bear in mind, this is way before I'd heard anything about YouTube. As we moved into BC2 with the clan, I decided, as I mentioned earlier, that I would start making YouTube videos, so I made an XWZP Enigma, which was my first clan account, and I made that as a channel, and I believe that's still floating around somewhere on YouTube. This was before I understood things like content ID systems, and so I was using music from Muse and whoever I felt like, and obviously you can't do that on YouTube. And once I realised that, I also happened to bump into a person on YouTube searching for Battlefield videos called Sergeant Enigma, which I'm sure many of you have heard of. And obviously he's famous for Battlefield videos, and I didn't want people to think that I was trying to piggyback a YouTube channel on his name. I'd never heard of him before this point, but I decided that it was clearly time to make a new channel. So what I did is I went back to my PlayStation and I discovered that the other account I'd made in Bad Company 1 was XWZP Hysteria, and so I decided that Hysteria Gaming HD had a cool ring to it. The HD part obviously comes from, if you look at the XWZP X Enigma channel, the videos were all recorded on a K-World and were very bad quality. It was before PVRs became affordable, and so I had my PVR for Hysteria Gaming HD, and so it was the first time I was starting capturing in high definition. Anyway, I hope that answers the question, and thank you for asking it, as being the one I decided that I need to pick, as it reminds me of some old clan days, clan buddies and stuff like that. So congratulations to you, Jenny, and I will contact you and you will have your pick of the remaining games, so hope you enjoy. And I can breathe. Wow. Okay, so we finally made it, guys. I'm hoping I've answered everyone's questions. I really hope you've enjoyed the video, and I'm really sorry to those who haven't been lucky this time. As I said before, I'll probably be doing another giveaway for the remaining games on the 1000 subscriber giveaway. So going by Social Blade predictions, I'm guessing that'll be in a month or so's time. So stay peeled for that. There should be lots of content in between times, which I hope you guys enjoy. And yeah, I just want to say a big thanks to everyone that's entered. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope you feel that you know a bit more about me and the channel, and therefore you would be a bit more comfortable interacting. I don't bite, I promise. I'm very sociable on YouTube, and so I know sometimes I sound like a boring bastard, but that's just part and parcel of being British, I'm afraid. It just seems to happen that way. My voice comes across a bit dull, but there we go. Hope you've enjoyed the video, guys, and I hope you have a great week, and I shall catch you in the next video, I hope. Take it easy.